What's going on, guys? My name is Wade with Tech Daily. So it's been a while since I've done any sort of desk tour or setup video. In fact, I'm not sure that I've ever really shown you guys the stuff I work with each day, the gear and tech that I use to film these videos, but after doing some upgrades and cleaning up the space a bit, I figured now was a better time than ever since things look clean and organized for once. So that's exactly what we're gonna do here. I'm gonna go over what's on my desk, what I use most every single day, and hopefully this is somewhat helpful if you were curious about the things I use to film and record these videos with, or maybe this just gives you some minor inspiration for your own setup. But either way, I hope you guys enjoy, and a big thanks to the folks over at HP for sponsoring this video. So I know this probably isn't what you expected, but we're gonna kind of ignore the computer because it's outdated and will obviously be replaced with something new here soon that I'm sure you guys can guess what it'll be. But most everything else, the peripherals, the recording equipment, the few little accessories, and the desk itself, that's all going to stay the same. And to start off, let's actually talk about the stuff that's on the desk, namely the keyboard and mouse. Now you might be surprised to hear that the mouse I've recently been using quite a bit is HP's new Bluetooth travel mouse. It's a relatively new addition to both my at-home setup and my on-the-go travel bag, and there are a few reasons for this actually. I prefer my peripherals to be as simple and as easy to use as possible. I do tend to switch between a couple of different computers, like my laptop and my desktop, for example, pretty often, and I also like something that lasts forever without needing to be plugged in. All that stuff is exactly what this mouse delivers for me. This little guy is small and compact, but still ergonomical and comfortable, even with maybe my slightly bigger than average hands. It also slides around nice and smooth on both the leather desk mat that I have and the bare wooden desktop surface, so I like that there's no issues with what surface this mouse is on. It's got a fairly quiet button click too, which I like and those around me I'm sure appreciate. And the mouse is fully customizable as well, with a handful of extra button controls all around. There's left and right toggles on the scroll wheel, which come in handy in a lot of different ways, like scrubbing through a timeline or adjusting a page, and two additional side-mounted buttons as well. And all four of these buttons actually, along with some other stuff, can all be customized in the HP app on your computer. So you can have them set up and synced however you'd like, really. There's a whole lot more you can do inside the app to customize not only the Bluetooth mouse itself, but the cursor sensitivity, obviously, the edge layout, clipboard, and even other HP products you might also use. So the app is super helpful, but even the mouse on its own has been great for me and for my workflow. Like I mentioned, switching between devices is super easy too. With a tap of the center button, I can go from using the mouse on my laptop to using it on my desktop and vice versa with ease, and I do that multiple times a day, so it's super helpful. Also, on just a couple AA batteries, this mouse lasts 24 months, literally 2 years, without the batteries needing to be swapped out, compared to the mouse I used to use, which magically lasted less than a month on a single charge and then had to be plugged in the most ridiculous way possible. This mouse makes just a bit more sense, in my opinion, to say the least. Like I explained, I keep things pretty simple here. I don't game, I don't need anything too extreme. This mouse has been working for me, and I appreciate HP sending it over for me to check out and use. And if you guys are interested, I'll leave a link down in the video description as well. It's super affordable too, like 39 bucks right now. So a great deal to say the least, and something I've enjoyed having on my setup. For the keyboard, I really wanted something silver or gray or black to match the rest of my desk, but I didn't really want to spend like $150 on one. So I went with this alternative from Jellycomb a while back. This keyboard has almost the same look and feel as the official one, but costs only 40 bucks instead, and it still has all the keyboard shortcuts and proper button layouts that you need. It's got the full number pad on the side, it's rechargeable with the charge port set up in a spot that makes sense, so you can actually use it while it's charging. You can connect it up to 3 devices as well. It's been a great keyboard for me for a while now, And while I still think it's slim and sleek and looks great on my desk, there is actually a newly updated version of this keyboard out now with an even sleeker, newer looking design and some additional upgrades and improvements. I'm looking forward to adding that here at some point, but for now, this one works great for me and I don't really need to replace it anyway. But I'll leave both versions of this keyboard linked down below in the video description if you want to check them out for yourself. Underneath the keyboard and mouse on the desk is just a simple leather desk mat. And actually, I don't even think it's real leather. I think it's like a faux leather plastic. It was super inexpensive on Amazon. I didn't pay too much attention to it. I just wanted something that went well under the keyboard and mouse and my hands to keep things clean. And this is what I ended up with. I have no complaints here really, but there are nicer, much more premium desk mats out there. This one just gets the job done for me. Okay, so let's actually get into the desk itself now because this is probably the newest addition to the whole setup and something I've been wanting for quite a while. This is the TacLife Electric Standing Desk. It's a super minimal but totally functional standing desk, and I have to be honest, I was not a person who cared for or even really believed in standing desks, but this thing has honestly changed my mind. So I first want to just quickly talk about the assembly and setup process I went through with this desk because it was the easiest thing in the world and gave me a super good impression right off the bat. The desk was shipped in basically 3 or 4 pieces. There was the desktop itself, this single all-white 52-inch by 28-inch wood tabletop. It also comes in all black, by the way, if that better matches your setup. The tabletop itself has all the holes pre-drilled and screw mounts pre-installed, and all you need to do really was just follow a handful of super easy instructions to get everything set up. All the parts and pieces were clearly marked and organized, and the steps are basically this. Just install the 2 metal legs onto the tabletop. Everything got screwed in with just a few long screws and an Allen wrench. Then throw on the 2 feet underneath. Again, just had to twist in a couple of screws. And then you plug in and mount the motor that allows the desk itself to raise and lower. The whole setup process took me 30 minutes or less to unpack, assemble, and set up the desk, and after that, I was good to go. The desk itself is controlled using a simple button switch mounted underneath. You can have the button installed either on the left or the right of the desk, your choice, and with a single press and hold, you can adjust the height of the desk anywhere from 26.5 inches all the way up to 45.5 inches. So for me, not only is it really useful to be able to adjust the desk when I'm sitting, for example, sometimes I slouch a little too much and need the desk higher or lower to fix my bad posture, but kicking back the chair and standing up every once in a while is great too, and this thing can raise or lower to exactly the height I need it to. Also, when filming videos, it's kind of nice to just change the height of the desk a little bit to adjust a shot or something. I do that from time to time too. The surface of the desk is a smooth, high quality wood-like finish with just a little subtle texture. The legs and frame are all metal, so it's sturdy, it's built well, it can hold like 150 pounds of weight. So even 2 27-inch monitors and all the accessories and things to go with them wouldn't be a problem on this desk. And the actual motor that adjusts the desk height is relatively quiet too. I think most importantly, the price on this desk is right. It retails for $250 right now. It's really affordable considering what it is and considering some other sit-stand desks on the market right now that are kind of popular. For me, this has been a really interesting and unexpectedly useful add-on to my overall office setup. Like I said, I honestly was kind of hesitant about standing desks before, but having the ability to adjust it a million different ways is something I find myself doing all the time now, and not spending a ton of money on some fancy name brand one really helped out too. I think this is the perfect combo of good quality and affordability, and it's a really great sit-stand desk that I think a lot of people should consider, even if you are hesitant about this whole standing desk thing like I was. Also, next to the TacLife standing desk is just a set of IKEA drawers. They're the Alex drawers. I feel like everyone knows this style. I've had a few variations of this drawer unit over the years, and it works, it's affordable, there's plenty of space inside, and for my setup, I think it's just a nice pairing. Nothing special special or unique, just simple and functional. Now, when it comes to actually filming my videos and recording the voiceovers, I've made some changes to my gear here as well. First off, the studio lights I use have finally been upgraded. Long gone are the big bulky softbox lights I used to have. I now have a pair of these newer LED light panels, and these things are awesome. These are the 21-inch 70-watt variety. They're big, they're incredibly bright, and most importantly, they take up very little space compared to the soft boxes I had before. When I film, I usually only need to set these lights at 50% brightness. That's more than enough for me. And you can adjust the color temperature as well a bit, which is nice. Out of everything in my setup, I think these are the priciest items I have, at least considering what they actually are. They're like $150 each, I think. But my last lights were super cheap, and they held up well for a long time, which was good. But these are way nicer. They're quite the upgrade in comparison, and I hope they last just as long or even longer. I'm super excited to have them as part of the setup now. For recording my voiceovers, I changed up that part of the setup as well. Rather than having all the parts and pieces to my recording setup stuffed in a drawer and having to be taken out and set up every time I record, I now have a fixed setup instead, with a mounted microphone and audio interface that's more permanent and way easier to use. For the mic and mic arm, these are both from Blue. Now, yeah, I know everyone's on the Shure train right now for voiceovers and podcasts and all that stuff, but I've been using Blue mics for years and years now, from the Snowball to the Yeti to the Bluebird, and I've always liked the products. This mic here is the Blackout Spark SL, and while it's, I guess, not quite as high-end as my old Bluebird, this one is smaller, a little cheaper, but just as good in my opinion. The microphone arm is also from Blue. It's the Blue Compass, and this is a little pricier than your average mic mount, about $100, but I like the look of it. And for me, it works really well too. It's mountable to any desk or surface edge really easily, and the arm itself is thick, it's sturdy, and fully adjustable in every which way. The joints can be balanced to fit any weight microphone you might want to use, and no matter how you twist it, swivel it, move it, or bend it, it stays in place afterwards, which is great. Again, I know there are cheaper alternatives out there for the arm and better microphones, but this setup is what I liked most, so that's why I chose it. And since the Blue Spark is an XLR microphone, it needs a good audio interface paired up with it as well. And I recently moved over to the Behringer Euphoria. Now, I'm not an audio guy, so I can't say much more about this other than it's got dual XLR inputs to record two people at once, plenty of adjustments for recording, phantom power, direct monitor. It's a simple to use but very well-rounded audio interface that's great for beginners or total noobs like myself who just need a quick and easy audio interface for an XLR mic. I have no complaints here with it. And finally, my headphones of choice for both listening to music and editing voiceovers. It's always changing now. My go-tos were the Audio-Technica ATH M50Xs, but I also have these overpriced things that I throw on from time to time too. To be honest, when I'm on the go, it's literally just a pair of earbuds, so it's all over the place really. But the headphone stand, which I kind of like, is just this one from Newbie. I like it because it's cheap but nice looking and sturdy and stable enough to hold even the heaviest of headphones. I like how it looks on my desk setup, so that's why I ended up choosing it. So there you go. That's mostly everything I use each and every day to work, to film, to edit. Hopefully this was interesting or helpful, or maybe gave you some inspiration for your own desk setup. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video though. Be sure to follow Tech Daily on Twitter and subscribe to the Tech Daily YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys later.